world. Every mystical, beautiful understanding of that is literally in the design.
Yes.
And as the feminine, as the divine feminine, the sacred feminine, we carry the vision. So we have to have the vision for what we will birth. I've written 3 books. I had to have a vision before I wrote the books. Before I birthed those books, I had to have the vision of that. The vision that is subconscious within all of the feminine is how to birth things. It's not just babies. That is part of the divinity, is the vision. The masculine is the action. It's the action that comes in that takes the vision and brings it into reality that could not exist without the divine masculine. We must be in honor of what that original impetus is, in the same way I often talk about the sun. That it is the masculine that gives power and clarity and order to the vision. Because we round.
Yeah.
We free.
Yeah, just be out here. Master be like, come on now. Sprout starts sprouting.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. Welcome to Call for the Truth. I am LaOta of the Sun, and this is Tarvars of the Sun, and we are happy to have you join us with our conversation today about divinity. But before we begin, Tarvars, will you bring us into the Call for Truth?
Yes, we encourage you all who are joining in the live stream, join us in the frequencies of truth. Should we call forth the frequencies of truth? Should we call to see the truth in all that we see? Shall we call to hear the truth in all that we hear? Shall we call to speak the truth, calling forth the courage to speak the truth? Shall we call forth nothing less than the truth to come forward into our experience? And we are in the Truth, Call for the Truth podcast, and our topic today, working with the Call for the Truth divination card deck, is the theme, divine. I'm divine.
Yeah.
That's a good song.
Yes,
I don't know if I can play it because it's copyright, but so our maxim today is only in oneness will we see the divine creation principles within ourselves and call back our balance of the masculine and feminine from within. This also happens to be the heart space, the unified merging center where these two energies, some people say they're unified, they're married, where the center point of being is, which all of that's fine and dandy. However, you're walking around here with one leg, LaOta.
Yeah.
Maybe a leg and like part of us chopped off at the knee,
Yeah.
hopping around. So you were saying in another podcast, we were talking about how both polarities contain masculine and feminine. And so in a world where we don't even have, well, I don't want to say we don't, because you often say look to nature for the reference points, but there is clearly a disconnect from nature, so it is a bit challenging for us to integrate, but it's there for how to properly operate as the masculine and the feminine in exaltation, not in detriment. But I also see that there's been a lot of trauma. There's been a lot of trauma that has distorted our perception, and particularly of the masculine, due to suppression, oppression, depression, domination and control, and then the self-sacrifice we've talked about with the feminine, the weakness, so to say, or the not being allowed or permitted to step into their power due to circumstances and loss of sense of who they are, and so there's trauma from both ends. I think even the masculine is experiencing something for the need to try to suppress the feminine. Like something's going on there. Like why you got to do that? What's eating you up where you feel the need to do such a thing, and the disregard for the balance within. So why is this important to find this balance, LaOta?
So let us look at the word. The card is the divine, right?
Yeah.
What does that mean? What does divine mean? It is a reference to sacredness. And what does sacredness mean? Sacredness is that which is from Creator. All things from Creator are can be considered sacred. If I walk on the ground as a being made for this planet on the back of the mother, I am sacred and so is she. So when we're talking about the divine, we're looking at who made you as the masculine. Are you not of the sacred and divine lineage of Creator?
I am.
That's right.
I'm wearing it.
Yeah.
On my name tag.
Yeah. So you are sacred, and so am I. So if someone were to say, well, why are you saying you divine? It's because I am in my right place as part of creation, as is the basil and the sunflowers. All of us are divine, and the bees and the ants. It's all divine and should be treated with a level of sacredness. But the two polarities that have come together and individualized itself as masculine and feminine, which is law in this universe. Gender is law. And it has individualized itself so that there can be multiplication. So more life can be made, So what is that? What is that experience? I am a womb man, and you are man, but we are both man. I am womb man. I am the man that has the womb, and you are the man that does not. And we have different functions within the idea of procreation to reproduce, which is not a law that everyone must do, but the law of gender has come together, individualized the aspects of divinity to two polarities so that it can happen that there is a reproduction of life. But reproduction of life doesn't just mean babies. It could mean ideas. It could be thought forms. It could be schools of science. It can be all levels of expansion. And so, but that's how these things are birthed. So those two ideas are really important to have. What we don't know as the womb man and as the man is what we're supposed to do. We're all walking around like, well, what are we supposed to do? So we will today put before you some of the things that are clear to us that you can adhere to if you adhere to them.
Get your pen and notepad ready. I'm about to go in. All right, so this is a really great way to set us up. We're seeing how divine masculine, divine feminine, it permeates all aspects of reality, especially the reference to creation. It's beyond babies. We be creating, energies and
songs, music, art, life, buildings, architecture.
Yeah, inspired by the divinity from within.
Yes, science.
All of that. And so it's beautiful. And again, we can see that there's clearly have been an attack on this within us. And there's been some level of consenting. But take us into the understandings. What's the appropriate understanding? How to perceive the function as well as the practical application of the masculine and the feminine within the individual.
These are things I'm about to say that you will be able to see because it transcends the anti-life agendas that have us all in a psyop.
Yeah.
What I'm going to say, you'll be able to see through the psyop. The divine feminine is, her love is the protection. It protects her and the family. Her love of the child protects the child. The love of any created creature we see, the mother's love protects the child. So we can see that in all different iterations of nature. You can see by the design of the structure of the feminine human body, our structure is freedom. It's circular.
Yes. We
are round and circular. It's free. It's easy. We have imprisoned ourselves into more narrow views. That's not circular. And our discipline is how dedicated we are to those who we are loving in our freedom to love. So we love as protection. Our design is freedom, and we are structured to be in dedication and devotion to all that we birth, whether it's a book or whether it's our science or whether it's our music or our children or our relationships. Our devotion arises as part of our structural understanding. It is our structure to not only be freedom, but in the freedom choose devotion. So all of this is choice, not, you don't legislate our love as protection. You don't legislate our freedom as devotion. We are that. So
Yeah, this is fascinating. If I may, it's interesting hearing you say this. And again, if you're paying attention, you can see the psyop. You can see the lie bump against this truth where, let's go back to protection, saying the mother's love is protection. And I've been thinking a lot about the mother and how we are in the container of the womb, the initial protection. But the psyop is, oh no, the man, because he got muscles. Yeah, I got muscles. However, she is the protector.
yes.
It's like it's been flipped. And it's not that the masculine cannot, but it is, the psyop is that that's not even in the range of who you are, but everything within our reality, or the inception of how we come about into physical reality, is the protection, and everything provided within the protection.
Everything is literal. Every mystical, beautiful understanding of that is literally in the design.
Yes.
And as the feminine, as the divine feminine, the sacred feminine, we carry the vision. So we have to have the vision for what we will birth. I've written 3 books. I had to have a vision before I wrote the books. Before I birthed those books, I had to have the vision of that. The vision that is subconscious within all of the feminine is how to birth things. It's not just babies. That is part of the divinity, is the vision. The masculine is the action. It's the action that comes in that takes the vision and brings it into reality that could not exist without the divine masculine. We must be in honor of what that original impetus is, in the same way I often talk about the sun. That it is the masculine that gives power and clarity and order to the vision. Because we round,
Yeah.
we breathe.
Yeah, just be out here. Master be like, come on now. Sprout starts sprouting.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. So the divine masculine is we are at a point in the history where we may share with you our integrity, so that you may become integritous, so that everything is not okay, that it is the thing that makes you stand up straight that we want, that it's the thing that stands up straight that you want, that it is the correctness of the posture and the clarity of the power that has been given to the masculine that then supports everything else. And that requires discipline. So we will share with you the discipline that we have to keep the children alive for 20 years. Y'all may not have that. Y'all may be like doing some
Working with things, not people.
yeah, you may. Yeah, so we have that. So the masculine has integrity, discipline, and then mostly will go into action, which then covers. These are broad strokes, but it covers so many areas, and these things work together. And many women have all of these things in varying levels and degree. I know I do, in varying levels and degree. But I'm not really wanting to build the house.
So, but this is what I was.
I don't really want it to get the hammer.
Yeah. So this is what I was talking about, where there is a bit of
Yes, there's a
sliding
lot of,
between both, and
and
no
it's
matter
all
what
okay.
gender you are. Yeah, and so this is wild because like this is the truth, but we can see how even through transgenderism, the truth was distorted. You know, where I need to manipulate the body, where it's already there. It's almost like, let me get tattoos of sacred geometry. No, I am sacred geometry. Why am I gonna try to stretch out there for the truth that's already inherent within me?
Well, that's a distortion that is playing itself out to its inevitable conclusion, which is not eternity. Because how could it be? It's a polarity and detriment that refuses the reality of its polarity, which is law. You are both.
Yeah.
And gender is law, and creation is to create. It is diametrically opposed to that idea. So rather than, I mean, I don't really want to make this podcast about that, but it's very,
No, but I think
it
it's
seems clear.
worthy of talking on because it's part of the psyop. It's part of the anti-life, to where these forces know that we are waking up, know that it is embedded in our coding to move towards oneness. Let's throw let's throw some confusion in the mix.
Well, that's for sure, but how does it feel as a man for me to say, you are integrity, you are discipline. I'm so glad that you are the action and not me.
You're welcome.
You know.
So, what does the future of money look like to you, Alex?
The future of money won't be about what we use. It'll be about who we trust. We're heading into a world where money is no longer paper. It's data. Central bank, digital currencies, programmable payments, and surveillance systems will redefine how value moves. But here's the twist. The more digital it gets, the more people will crave something real. That's why gold and silver aren't disappearing. They're becoming the anchor in a world of floating code. Money will evolve technologically, but it will always revolve around trust. And digital systems can't replicate 5,000 years of human belief in tangible value. The future of money? Digital convenience built on physical truth. The code will change, but the collateral won't. Because in every era, old or new, gold stays the final receipt.
Like, it should feel good. It should feel good for women to hear, like, it is your love that protects us. It is clear that love protects. Yeah. We can see it all through nature. You mess with a chicken, you try to take the egg, you talk to the rooster. I mean, all of it. What's the rooster doing? You know, he's defending the eggs. And what's the chicken doing? Like, don't be taking my eggs. You know, like, all we have to do is look at nature and we can see what has escaped the psyop. Gender is law, and every gender doesn't operate exactly the same way, but these broad strokes do encompass the divine masculine and the divine feminine, and we are one and operate best as one. It doesn't do much good to have an architectural view and nobody to build the house. You know, so if you're the dreamer, great, but where's the builder? So it is not so much physically that, although it can be that.
Yeah, but that's my point. That, and you mentioned this earlier, that these laws are pervasive through every layer and dimensionality of our being.
Yes.
You know, and we see it. It's like it is inescapable, and we must work within it.
And it's exquisite.
Yeah.
It is an exquisite plan to create the divine feminine and the divine masculine. And only when we honor what we are do we more honor the other polarity of ourselves. The more I love myself, the more I can love the masculine. The more I am a mother, I have birthed men. So I love men. As I have birthed them, I know what they are. They are learning who they are. You know, so where is the deficit? I am both, but I have different capacities because it's necessary. And the same with the masculine. What masculine doesn't love the feminine that knows who it is? Like, I know who you are. You got action, you got integrity, you got discipline, you be fixing things and making things go well, and that's what you want to do.
Mm-hmm. find
know.
joy in it and the
That's-
satisfaction of sharing it with others.
Yeah, you like doing the things that are integral to you. We see it in the babies. We see it in the baby boys. We see how they behave. We see what they want. We see how they are. What's not to love there? We protect you with our love, and then you build us the house. Cool. That's a good exchange. That's divine. That's the exquisiteness of the plan. If we could just get back to understanding our part in the plan.
So let's shift the geometry a little bit
Okay.
and look at this masculine and feminine thing. I have seen masculine and feminine has been clashing within the consciousness of humanity for a long, long time. Long time. And I can see an intensifying of that that is perpetuated through media, movies, film, etc. Even social media. It's a thing where even in the dating community, there's like a great distrust. Women are like trusting bears more than men, and men are like, I can't put the pulse on it because I'm not fully in it, but I can see where there's like a unwillingness to pursue anymore. There's
There
like
is.
attachment, because like you wearing this and like then I say something and you shut me down. There's no point. And so one of the things that I saw early on in my spiritual journey is I was reading texts and the way how they describe the masculine and the feminine, like the primordial energies as if they were like clashing, red versus blue, fire and ice, and these forces and I always felt like something's not right about this. Like they're supposed to exist together, just like creation, you say. But we see it through the psyop of our reality, where it's this team versus that team, Democrats versus Republican. There's always like this red versus blue, that this or that competitiveness that we are embodying. Would you speak on this idea of like the distortion of the psyop and how we can adjust and remove that programming?
And part of it is falling in love with who you are. The real life clash is that if it is true that our structure is freedom and you try to enslave us, there's going to be a fight. So some people join the masculine side. Some women join the masculine side. Say, I'm on the side where the power is. So I'm gonna slide down to that end of the polarity. And then some women like, I'm on the side where I'm completely helpless, and I hope that will appeal to your, that you will give me grace and not hurt me.
So affable.
Well, and it doesn't really work out.
No.
It's like feeling like fear will protect you. It won't. It won't protect you. So there is a place for each aspect that we have not seen, has not been written in ancient texts, because when women were in the dominant aspect of societal operations on earth, all of those books were burned.
And temples, they was like, get that out of here. They cleaned house LaOta.
Yes.
It was wild.
So we don't, and the reason it was done was so don't nobody get no ideas. Get that Wonder Woman stuff out of here too. On your island with no man,
Right.
So we don't have an example. We really have to go within, which is what you said. We must go within to see what arises, because we are on the ends of polarity. We have all the room to be who we are and attract the appropriate response in the field. So we can attract the one who doesn't really want to build a house, or she's really got the carpenter skills. It's okay.
There's the fluidity.
All of that
happens.
is the one who doesn't want to birth a baby but would like to birth a book. That's all good. The one who wants to run a business, and the one who wants to stay home and cook. Those are all very valuable, valid experiences that we all already agree can happen but there are those who demonize any aspect of themselves that has not yet flourished. So if you're 22 and you make a decision, you have, you don't grow up till you're 50. You still got pablum on your mouth till you're 50 years old. So you shouldn't be making no decisions about how the whole earth and everybody in it is just yet. You give yourself a little time to mature so that you can have the proper respect for creation. So all of this stems from a world being made, I want to say godless, but God is the right word. The world that has no divinity, has no sacredness, where all sacredness is stamped out, where you put McDonald's on top of sacred burial grounds, where the indigenous people of a place are given, cookies and white sugar and white flour, where you kill all things that arise from the sacred and the divine, and then what's left you call society. Whatever's left over after the smallpox, that's, after the alcohol and the drugs, that's what we'll work with. So we don't really have the blueprint, but we do. It is within us. It is within us, and we can see shadows of it in our world, but we can really see it in nature. There are a variety of different ways to be together. Not everything stays together as one pair forever. Many things meet once and that's it.
Yeah, it's like, all right, we did what we did.
And there's no...
Keep it moving.
Yeah, there's no shade. There's no... It's not a problem. But because we think it's a problem, it's like the idea, if you're fasting and you don't know you're fasting, you think you're starving. And then you die. Yeah. And if you're fasting and you know you're fasting, you get glorious. You start glowing and get bigger and beautiful. If you think you're starving, you just die. So this is what has happened in our world. We've been fed the wrong input, so we have the wrong output. So we're in judgment about everybody and everything. And we're mostly in judgment about ourselves and what's wrong with us. But there's nothing really wrong with us. We just have adopted systems that don't support the divinity within us. So the world is being, the divinity and the sacredness is being erased through colonization, through religious systems, through limitation and narrowness of view. When we are meant to expand, if we don't expand, we get dementia and Alzheimer's and don't know where we are. And don't know what's going on. The first thing we lose is our right now experience. Like, I don't remember what I just said. That's the first thing you lose. What did I just say? That's the next thing you lose is everything else. If you don't expand, so we have an epidemic of mental health issues because our divinity has been robbed from us, and we've been made to walk a narrow path down a narrow hallway into the dark, with no real destination and no vision and nobody building the house at the end. I don't know if that answers your question.
It does. I'm over here thinking, whose vision are we following?
Yes, but we don't have to. We don't have to follow anybody's vision. The vision is within us.
Exactly, yeah. And so it does... I'm just going to go back to the card because it literally says it. Call back our balance of the masculine and feminine from within. The vision is within. The inspired action comes from within, not something external.
I have a fabulous, beautiful, masculine aspect within me that loves the fabulous, beautiful aspect of the feminine that I am.
Yeah, I like how you did that right there. Yeah.
We're good.
Yeah.
We're good with each other.
That's what's up. None of that he say, she say clash and stuff. None of that red versus blue.
Like you try to...
It's purple.
Blended. If you have the thought to keep me from being free, you might visit some of that.
Yeah.
You might...
You might pull it out on them. Might pull out that...
there may be a little turn up. There may be a little turn up if you're trying to subjugate the freedom of the feminine. You may see some wild things like we see, because it comes out anyway. And it comes out in distortion. But the reality is, for all who are listening and all who will ever listen and all who have ever asked that question, is go within. You have both. Love them both. Once you do that, the other self will feel the love you have for your other aspect and will love you back. So that's how that could work out.
Yeah.
And it's palpable. You know, when you love the masculine within you, you love the feminine within you, there's no fight. And then those who interact with you can see that you're in love with the aspects of yourself because you're in love with the divinity that you are, the sacredness of creation, what has happened in our world that led us to this place where we're in the moment of rectification. This is the decline of the empire. We are about to rectify.
Yeah, I like that. That's a strong way to end. We're about to rectify this thing. You ready to rectify this? LaOta, this has been quite expansive, and it's, again, refreshing to see an alternative perspective, something that has been overlaid and distorted from our participation with anti-life programming. And get back to source, get back to nature, go within. The truth is already within the template.
We are an example of the divine masculine and the divine feminine in harmony, and this is something that people can look at. There's no fight here.
Nah, this is why.
Yeah. And because there's no fight, there's nothing but respect, and in the respect is the respect for who we each are internally. You respect the divine feminine and masculine within you, and I respect the divine feminine and masculine within me, and I understand that there's a flow between them. So this is what you're looking at. If you're wondering, what is it that I'm seeing here? That's what you're seeing.
That's what you're looking at. Balance.
So we thank you for joining us. We're so pleased that you came today. We'd like to give you the greetings of Inlakesh and Veritas with honor, respect, and gratitude for the divine feminine, integrity, discipline, and action representing the divine masculine. We are one. Thank you.